Welcome to day 4 of our Art Impressions Week of Webisodes. I'm so delighted to have Bonnie back, and she's going to show us new things.
We are going to make a masculine card this time.
Yes.
I'm going to show you how to do it. It's super easy. You'll be surprised how easy it is.
And we ask you to come play with us. And these are the packages, only 3, that we're going to use to create a wonderful card. We're going to use this card, so we'll give you a sneak peek of it.
And you can see that it looks way more complicated. Who would ever guess that's only 3 stamps in there?
True.
It doesn't look like that, but that's the fun thing about this technique. It's all about stamping it in a repeat, and it's all about making it look like a watercolor.
Yes,
We don't want it to look like it's stamped.
So we're going to, that's true. So we're going to use the 3 here. So tell us what
That's
they are.
right. So this little set comes with this vintage truck. Super, super easy to do. It comes with a little barn and the fence. So you get these 3 images.
So that's the watercolor truck mini set.
That's correct. And then we have the watercolor tree set. So this little tree set comes with a multitude of trees. You can use any of these trees with this little truck.
Okay.
We're going to use this one right here. And then in the mini flower set. So these are little tiny mini ones. And you
Very
can
tiny,
see when you turn it over how small they really are. But the little ones are very important to these techniques. So we're going to use this one right here.
Okay, so we'll scoot these aside, and you're going to bring in some watercolor paper?
I am. So we're going to start out with a piece of watercolor paper. And we're going to make sure that we're using the textured side. And we're going to start out by inking the basic image. So the basic image is the very first thing that we do.
So you generally start with the largest, the
Correct.
focal?
The focal point. That's a good way to say it, the focal point. And we're going to use 2 colors on that because we want a really nice vintage gray, since the truck looks like it's kind of an old white truck.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to use 2 colors. We're going to start with African Violet. This is a cool blue.
And if you've seen Bonnie before, you know that this pairing is really popular
very important.
with it. Works for you well.
Yes, it is, because we want something that has depth. And in order to get that, we need this magic color. This is sepia, and it's really the color of dirt. So that's why it's so important.
Yep.
We need this color, and we need this in a combination.
And again, you're doing it sideways, with your brush.
Correct. So I'm using the side of the brush tip. And then I'm going to take this now and stamp it right into the center of my paper. Okay. So just like this.
And it's a light image, so we can get in close just so you can see. It's not a black, stark image.
That's right. We don't use black.
We don't use
good
black.
Point. That's a good point.
And we don't have tires, complete
tires. No, we don't have
and
complete
we don't
tires.
want to.
No, no, we absolutely don't. And the thing about these is that you're stamping, this is a collection, and these pieces are made to go together, so nothing really is complete in itself.
Ah, good point.
So everything is made to work together. And so this truck, because the tires are missing, could be in anything, like snow.
Ah, okay.
Snow, or a field of grass, or dirt, or grass, or whatever.
Okay.
And we're going to put it in a field of flowers this time.
Okay.
So the first thing we want to do is we want to make this look 3-dimensional, and we're going to do that by the way we pull the color out of the lines.
Okay.
Very important. With
water.
Just water. So we're going to dip our brush, pinch it off, and you can see that the brush is flat. So that means we've taken most of the water off of it.
Okay.
So now we're going to look at each section, and the rule is that you may not go outside of your section. That's a rule. So you've got to start pulling the color out.
So stay
section
within the line?
by section.
Okay.
You don't ever want to cross over any of these
talk
lines.
About rules. That's
yes,
new.
This is a rule.
All right.
And all of our left brain type A people are going to love that part of the video, that there's a rule. And this really is a rule, because we want to stay in these sections, section by section, and look at the contour. This has a lot of contours.
Yes.
So this is a dome, and that means that the highlight is at the top. And if the highlight is at the top, the darkest area is at the bottom. So we're going to start where it's the darkest and work our way up, and make sure we leave a highlight on the top.
That's what I was just thinking. So you would leave the unpainted area as the highlight.
Correct.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And that's what we're going to do in every section. So over here we have another dome. This is another dome, so that means the highlight is on the top. And so we're going to bring this color up. This is just water. and where it's the darkest is going to be on the bottom.
Wow.
Okay? And you can see how that's starting to pop that out.
It does.
So now we're going to go on
Why,
to
you're
the next.
right. You're right,
Yes,
Bonnie.
I'm right. I know it. That's why the rules are so important. Some rules may not be broken. We cannot break this rule.
Okay.
Okay, so look at the door. The door also has a contour. It's not a dome, but it's a contour, and it's coming out this way, right?
Okay.
That means the highlight is in the front.
Okay.
So we're going to start where it's the darkest, and that's on the side.
The edges.
And we're going to drag this over, and we're going to leave that highlight in the center. See how that pops that door out?
Yes.
Same right here. This little section here is also contoured.
Okay.
And now let's move on to the next part. And this is
She
flat.
put more water on her brush.
I put more water on the brush and pinched it off.
Pinched
So
it off.
dip and pinch
Every
time. So now this area is flat.
Yes.
Okay, so we don't need to worry about the contour and the highlights. So now we're just pulling the color out of the lines.
Wow.
And so we're pulling a little bit of this out. Now see these little areas? This is a reverse. So this isn't a contour, it's a divot.
Okay.
So now we're going to pull these color out of these lines and stop and do it again and stop and do it again and stop.
Okay.
And see how that brings these ridges up?
Just to give some definition.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so let's move on. See the hood?
More water.
More water. Now this is going to have a highlight on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a dome.
So you put the shading at the
So
bottom.
you put the shading at the bottom where it's going to be the darkest. And then here we actually have two. We have a dome and we have another contour here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to show both. So we want to drag this color up and over, but we want to see that highlight at the top and on the side.
That's
Okay.
just astounding.
Isn't that amazing
That
how
really-
that became
that
three-dimensional
really
just like that?
Wow.
And it's all about the way you pull the color out, and it's all about the rules.
And something I have to tell you is that Bonnie is self-taught. Now she does all of this art, all of the art that you see at Art Impressions, and also the coloring techniques are hers and just wonderful.
And I love this because I know how many people out there are not artists naturally, but want to be and
Yes.
want to do this type of art. And trust me, you don't need to be a trained artist. You don't even need to be an artist. You can do this technique, and that's who it's for.
Right.
That's why the rules.
To make it easy.
To
Right,
make it easy.
right.
So I'm just darkening these tires now, and you can see inside these wheel wells, this is going to be very dark in here.
Right.
So we're going to do one extra step, and we're going to take the fine tip now of the sepia, and we're going to really darken this in here.
Okay.
And see how that makes that even more three-dimensional now.
Yes.
Okay, so one more step. Look at the wheels. See these little
Hubcaps?
hubcaps? They're also dome. They're also a contour.
Right. Okay.
So we want to show that highlight also. So all it is a matter of showing the highlight. Make sure that you always see that. And then don't break the rules.
And that's all just been with 3 pens
Yes.
or 2 pens?
2 pens.
2 pens.
2 pens, one
Wow.
stamp. And you
Wow.
can see we've already got a great start on our
Yeah.
little painting. We've got a three-dimensional image. We've created that from a flat stamp. And we've used this mix of color. And that's also really important that we use a mix of color because we get that mix
Yeah.
when we pull this out. If we try to do this with a gray,
Yeah.
we have a one-dimensional
Exactly.
stamp.
Yeah,
That's what we have.
Wow.
So we need that magic color in here, and we need to be able to pull it out the way that we've done it. Okay,
Okay,
so
more,
let's move on.
more.
Okay, so now let's add our little flowers into the bed of the truck. And you can put anything in here. You can put a tree in the back. You can put branches, firewood. You can do this as a monochromatic, which is a single color. So do the
okay.
whole thing in maybe the sepia. That would be a whole nother video we
It
could
would
do
be different.
down
yeah,
the road.
It'd be very different.
So-
now show the stamp you're using.
So this is, I don't know if you can really see this on here. This is from that little mini flower set, and you can
Right.
see it has the blooms at the top and the grasses at the bottom. So we're going to ink this in 2 colors.
Okay.
So that's another reason why we use the markers, is because we need to be able to ink 2 colors on one stamp.
Right.
So we're going to start out with the blooms, and you can choose any color that you want.
Plus you get more control.
You have
I
more
think,
control.
With the pens.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Again, keeping them flat.
Keeping them flat and using the side. Don't worry so much that you're getting exactly the blooms and exactly the grass.
Good. Okay.
Everything is forgiving, and we're going to stamp this a bunch of times. So I'm going to turn my paper just because it's easier for me to get in here, and I'm going to go in here a few times.
So 5 times I counted.
So 5 times. I stamped over the truck. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
We can blend that out.
Okay.
So we don't need to worry about these things so much. And the thing about
that's really helpful.
It is helpful not to worry about things.
It is.
And for me, I'm so pressed for time normally that I have to do things quickly or it's not going to get done.
And
so see what a difference that made?
It just fills it.
It fills it up and it gives us that dimension. The light goes back and the dark comes forward.
And 2 colors.
And 2 colors, exactly. So let's do it again. And we're going to come right down to the bottom with this. So let's get the grass on here.
Okay.
And we're just going to stamp this a bunch of times here down below. Am I still on the page? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
So again, in here like this. So just keep working your way over.
Just to fill
it in.
Yeah.
Don't get confused with the blue and the green. Sometimes I've inked the flowers with the green just because I'm getting mixed up when I'm going back and forth. So do think about that.
She did look at the pens twice.
I did.
Just want to tell you that.
I did do that. You're exactly right.
And again, you're not really worried about exactly the placement. So give yourself a break.
Give yourself a break. Yes, absolutely. Because you know what? When you add the water to these, it's amazing how they turn out.
Right.
You're going to always add water to it, and that's going to forgive everything.
Good to know. Just a wonderful field of flowers.
It's just in a little field of flowers, and we're just going to keep putting a little bit of this in and we're good. So we've got this done now. So I'm going to take my water and dip my brush, pinch it off. Dip and pinch. Okay? And we're going to start out with the blooms and we're just going to dab. So we're just going to dab as we go.
Can we get in closer to see that?
Now my hand is flat on the table, so if you can see the position of my hand, just like I'm writing my name.
Okay. And
I'm using the side of my brush. And just jumping it around. And get all those light areas as well. It's really important to get the lights and the darks because the dark ones are the ones that are in the foreground.
Right, and the light ones in the back.
The light ones in the back, that are going back. Exactly.
So this kind of smooshes them.
It does. Yeah, it blends it all together. It brings it all together so it doesn't look like an individual stamp. It looks like a collection or a watercolor composition.
Yeah, like a cluster.
Exactly.
Yeah. And even some of the color going up and around.
Exactly. And see, we can pull some of this color out now of the truck, see from the top, and bring it out into the sky. And that will also give us more definition.
So pretty.
So let's go on to the grasses now.
Okay.
So I dip my brush now and I'm just doing little strokes like this.
It just really softens it.
It does. It softens everything out.
Nice. And that's why you don't want to have the wheels completely a circle because you need that space.
Exactly.
So
and we don't want to have to fight with those lines, in here. We don't want to have to fight with that.
No fighting in watercolor.
No fighting in watercolor. Okay. And pull this color over. You can pull it over.
Oh, look how it just makes the horizon. Nice.
And just drag it out like this. We're going to have a dark shadow underneath, so we always want to remember to put that in. So we'll do that from our palette, and we can take that same blue. So just like this.
Okay.
Same blue. And just put a little dark patch underneath.
Oh, just that stroke.
Just that stroke. Just a little stroke in here like that.
Just to show a shadow?
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can also come back in here, just the flowers, so just the blooms, and do a few more.
Oh, if you just wanted to have a little more
If you just want to have, so if you blend out a lot and it looks really soft, you can come back in and just tap in a few. Now, just as an accent.
Would you ever mix your colors on the blues?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sure. You can put a whole field of different colors in here. You can have lots and lots of different colors in the fields.
It just really fills it up.
It does fill it up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that cute?
Yes.
So let's add the tree into the background, and we are actually about finished with this. You could also take some of this color and add it into your truck.
Oh.
And when you add color to it, you're going to add the color the same way that you pulled the color out of the lines, dark to light.
Okay.
So start where it's the darkest, which would be at the bottom of the wheel wells. See in here?
Mm-hmm. So just a dab.
Just a dab, a little bit, just the idea of it. And let's brush this out.
For those of you who like to fuss and putz.
I know it. I know
That's what
it.
you're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Putzing.
That's
right.
exactly right. And you could take some of this now and add a little bit into the sky.
We're off camera.
We're off camera.
There you go.
There we go.
Now you're doing that before you put the tree.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's a little easier that way to do it beforehand. I'm glad you said that. And I'm just gonna let it dry a little bit too before I stamp that tree in. And we're gonna stamp that tree in 2 colors.
Okay.
Because we're gonna do a really super easy version. And I need some, maybe some stencil tape.
Okay.
And
One,
we'll just cover
two?
up. Yes,
What
just
would you
one
like?
piece. We're just gonna cover up a little bit of this truck.
Okay.
So this area here,
Okay.
so that we can stamp that tree
Okay.
in the background.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to use this little one, and I'm just using it on a little block just because I don't need the whole thing. And I'm going to stamp this in 2 colors, so I'm going to use that same green, and I'm going to do the small area of the branches.
Right.
So this area here, and then we're going to use the magic sepia again.
Of course.
This is so important, and it's the color of tree bark, so it's the perfect
And dirt. I
And dirt.
understand. Yes.
tree bark and dirt and the outside, out of doors. That's what it is. Okay, so now we're going to just stamp it back here in the background.
So that's why the masking tape.
That's right.
Okay.
And so we've covered that.
Nice.
And you can also just bring this little line down. So just like that.
Okay.
And we're going to take our brush now and we're going to pull this color out like this.
Okay, for the green. Really smudge it.
Really smudge it. And this tree is in the background, so we're not going to see a lot of definition on the leaves. So this is the perfect technique to use with things like this that are in the background.
That's just magic.
It is.
It just is.
It honestly is. Nobody would ever guess it's stamped, nor would they guess that you were such an artist.
Wow.
Who knew?
Wow. Bonnie knew.
You know what? That's what I love about this technique so much is that I know people can do it, and they have done it. So let's clean this off. This is the way I clean my stamps.
Okay.
I don't necessarily recommend it to everyone, but it is
So
the
don't
fastest,
tell anyone.
easier way.
It's our secret.
Exactly, it's our secret. And let's ink just a few of these little areas. So just maybe one little branch,
Okay.
and we can do a little detail in here like this.
Oh.
So another little tree in the background or a little bush,
That
and we've
was
got
surprising.
some extra texture.
Okay.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
And let's do another one. So let's take this one over here, and maybe we'll just do another one in this area. See how cute?
Yes.
And we sign a date because
the
we
same
always
stamps.
do. And the same stamps.
Yes.
So we've actually used 1, 2, 3 stamps in this
Yes.
entire composition.
Wonderful.
Sign and date always.
Ah.
And your
Beautiful.
little image is complete.
And then if you want to incorporate it into a card, you can do
Absolutely.
this. Also would be very nice on a scrapbook page.
Yes, and
Or
a scrapbook
journal.
page would be beautiful.
Great. Love having you here. Love knowing all the secrets. And please join us tomorrow and we'll wind up this great week of Webisodes.
Awesome.